our dearest viewers, in a new episode of MBC Journal. This is Lana again with you. OS is not here unfortunately today for urgent circumstances. We're going to start our episode with the breaking news with Bassam. We're going to talk about Palestinians in Jordan Valley, and our lands are already annexed. We're going to have a special guest from Scotland, Chris Klein, to talk about the Scottish culture. Let's start with the breaking news with Bassam.
Thank you, Lana. Palestinian detainee in Israeli jail Samir Arbid has recently been moved to hospital after he was mercilessly tortured during his interrogation by Israeli authorities, the Prisoner Support and Human Rights Affair reported. Several Palestinian and international activists holding a sit-in at a location on the shore of northern Dead Sea were assaulted and removed by occupation forces, according to witnesses. The activists from the Popular Resistance Movement were protesting statements by Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in which he declared his intention to annex the occupied Jordan Valley and the northern Dead Sea. Saudi Foreign Minister Ibrahim Ibn Abdul Hafiz Al Assaf announced on September 26th a contribution of $50 million to the core program budget of the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestinian refugees, according to UNRWA press release. Israeli settlers attacked Palestinian farmers while working in their own farms near the village of Deir Sharaf to the west bank of Nablus city in the northern occupied West Bank, according to local sources. Israeli authorities issued in September administrative detention orders against 101 Palestinians currently held in Israeli jails for periods ranging between 2 and 6 months. The Commission and Detainees Affairs, some of the orders were issued against Palestinians detainees for the first time, while others had their administrative detention renewed. Prime Minister Mohammed Shtayyeh said that his government is ready to hold general elections in Palestine once a presidential decree is issued on this matter. Speaking at the start of the weekly cabinet meeting held in Ramallah, Shtayyeh also said that a ministerial delegation is going to travel to Cairo to discuss economic cooperation. These are the news today. Thank you for watching.
Jordan Valley is a fertile plain of about 400 square kilometers, and it's like the basket of vegetables for Jordanian and Palestinians as well. So let's see this video graph together to know more about Jordan Valley. Again. Now we are in Nablus, and we're going to talk about Nablus Festival that was held by Project Hope organization.
It's a recent festival that's been going on for 4 years now. It's a culture festival that holds within Project Hope. And Project Hope sets a nice plan for bringing out internationals
and local artists, I think, so they can present and showcase of
a dynamic
the culture
exchange
in Nablus and in all over the
I
world.
also met with the organizers, the
Hakim
manager.
Sabah?
Yes, Hakim Sabah.
How was it? Like
It was good. He gave
yeah.
us some very good knowledge. He told us about his experience and sorted out how it was formed.
I'm so excited to see it. Let's
Well,
watch it together.
Let's watch it. Let's all leave it to Project Totem, bringing in multicultural diversities from all over the world within Palestine. Let's all welcome the founder of Project Hope, Mr. Hakim Sabah, and a British national volunteer that volunteers within Project Hope, Mr. Mohammed Hussein.
Hiya.
How are you guys all doing?
Good, thanks, and yourself?
Could you tell us about the organization Project Hope?
Well, Project Hope is mainly a volunteer organization that was founded almost 15 years ago.
15 years.
Yes, and that is active mainly in the Nablus area. So Project Hope is also a cultural organization. So we organize cultural events, and we have also educational programs.
And what kind of cultures have you guys brought in the nation?
Well, since we've founded the Nablus Cultural Festival in 2016, we were able to invite different, especially music groups from all over the world. So we've had music groups from as far as Japan, India, Norway,
Wow.
and west we had from America, groups from America, from Chile. I think that over the past 4 editions, we were able to invite, cultural representatives of many cultures.
And this is the 4th year for the Cultural Festival since 2016.
Exactly.
And as a volunteer, have you participated in all 4 years of the Cultural Festival?
No, this will be my first year participating.
Really?
I originally came to Palestine in 2016, returned last year, and on both previous occasions I visited Hakim at the office and saw the work that they were doing.
But how did you find Project Hope?
I did a bit of research online, volunteer programs within Palestine, the West Bank, and Project Hope was top of the list.
Oh, that's really nice. You well advertised it outside the nation. That's really nice.
Well, I think Project Hope is one of the best known programs now internationally when it comes to looking for volunteer opportunities in Palestine, and I'm very proud of that.
I completely agree, because sometimes when I ask for example, a course to do, or in some case like public speaking or communication workshops, they always tell me go to Project Hope. I want this, go to Project Hope. And I find it very nice to always hear Project Hope in the scenarios.
Yeah,
It's very well involved.
It's always, it's always nice to know that we are a destination for Palestinians who want to improve their skills. I'm very proud of that as well.
So you focus on the community as well.
Exactly. It's a charity, a volunteer organization mainly, to begin with, and so focusing is on the community and its different aspects is what we do.
And what kind of volunteers?
We have volunteers from all over the world all the time.
How about
right
local?
now we have people from Scotland, we have people from Italy, from France, the United States, and so we have people from all around the world. And at the same time, we have people who come with different know-how. So we have people who work in banks, for example, like Muhammad. We have people who are artists right now. We have
internationals.
Internationals.
How about locals? Are they well involved as well?
Of course, we have
nowadays?
Local volunteers who also help mainly with languages, with translation, and they get I think an enormous experience from their work with us as well.
And how do you find Project Hope as more in terms of experience?
It's amazing because they've got the programs that they offer, like the educational side of it and the cultural side of it with the festival. And they've got a dedicated team there who genuinely care about what goes on within Project Hope. And it is really inspiring to see what they're achieving.
And how about the Palestinian culture? Were you shocked when you first came to Palestine, through Project Hope? Was everything as you expected or not?
I had no expectations.
No expectations, like a blank page.
Yes, I did my research on everything, And when I came out here, you know, I fell in love with the country and the people. You know,
Really?
yeah. Wherever I went, you know, I spoke to people and they heard that I was a foreign national visiting. They're always so hospitable. You know.
What was the most unique experiences you've seen within Palestine you've had?
You know, the whole thing's been unique. In all honesty, I mean, the kids. You know, like despite the occupation, despite what they're going through on a day-to-day, the struggle, the love that they have and the love that they display, and it's almost like a never give up sort of attitude. You know, and it's, you know, it's really inspiring to see.
That's very nice. But something that's been on my mind for a while, this cultural festival, how did it come to your mind?
Well, you know, we've been organizing cultural events for a long time, especially when Nablus was totally closed off by the checkpoints until '09. So for a while, I was thinking about doing something bigger, not only to have, you know, like events, cultural events, like on a seasonal basis. So, and then in 2015, I decided to start the cultural festival. I thought, why not we could do like a week, 10 days, where we have artists from all over the world coming with artists in Nablus, and we can do workshops, we can do concerts, we can do different kind of activities, seminars, and so on. And so the first edition was in 2016, and it was a huge success. We had 150 people from 12 countries the first year.
Wow.
So that gave us, you know, a push. You know, we wanted to do more, and so, you know, we went to the second year and third year, and now with the fourth year. And you know, it's always difficult, you know, and a lot of work, as well as finding, you know, financial support to get things done. So whenever I'm in the process or in the midst of doing it, I was like, okay, this is the last time, because it's a lot of work, it's you know, a lot of energy, but you know, when you see people, when you see people happy and enjoying it, like we see,
because you're doing change in the community.
Exactly, and the concerts, and you know, see, you know, everything. We have every time we have a full house. You know, when it comes to spectators, you know, when you see that and see people happy,
you keep going.
You keep going. First, you want to do so. You want to do more. Especially that everything we do is for free. You know, people go to see the concerts and the events for free.
That's not something very often here.
Exactly,
like nothing is for free.
You just, you know, invite people, and people come and enjoy themselves, and so it's good. You know, yesterday we've had a group from music group from France and Chile, so people for the first time, you know, they're singing in French and Spanish, and people are enjoying themselves.
I saw a few clips. It was very hectic. It was amazing.
Yeah, it's, you know, it's the people are happy even though they don't understand the lyrics, but at the same time you see that they are interacting with the whole thing. And because also people need a breather as well, right? It's important for them to have this breather and to have this time out of, or this normality of life, if we can call it.
And this is a question for both of you. What changes would you add in the future to the Culture Festival?
I would say to have, like, to continue bringing different cultures. So we've had groups from a lot of countries until now. Maybe to have other countries, you know, like last year we had Japan for the first time.
You mean have more than one?
No, I mean to have more diversity. Like we've had Japan, we've had India, we've had, maybe next year we should have somebody, like something from China or Turkey. We never had China or Turkey. I think that would be like my goal for next year, is to have, because I think like Turkish music is, or dancing is beautiful.
It's very becoming more involved.
Exactly, yes. Yeah. So that would be maybe something additional to do.
Oh, that's great. And
yeah, I'd like to see more support for Project Hope in regards to, you know, finances.
Yeah, it should be, because I see it's the way they're involved. It's much underrated than it's supposed. Like it's supposed to be more valued.
110%. Like the work these guys are putting in, day out, with the limited resources that they have. You know, I can't help but wonder what they could do with a healthy budget. You know, I would like to see a bit more support from other nations, and you know, some donations coming through, so for these guys to be able to do a lot more.
That's great. And how can we find you on social media?
Yeah, well, on social media you have the Project Hope official page,
On Facebook?
On Facebook, and
Okay.
then we have our website projecthope.ps as well, and and of course in Nablus everybody knows what Project Hope is. You know,
I'm sure you're in Nablus, yes.
In Nablus everybody knows where we are.
Well, thank you for your time, guys.
Thank you.
And I really appreciate, and on behalf of the community, what you guys are doing within the community. And I hope to see more involvement within the future.
Thank you, Bassam. Thank you for having us.
For more information, follow NBC Journal on Facebook or nn.ps. So NBC viewers, today we'll be exploring with our special guest about the Scottish culture and independency. Lena, do you know anything about it?
Actually, I know a bit, but like we have a special guest from Scotland tonight, and I guess he will tell us more about this.
So let's give a clear welcome
Great,
to Chris
culture.
Klein.
Hi there.
How are you doing?
Hello.
I'm good, thank you.
Welcome here, Chris.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
Tell us about the uniform you're wearing.
Yeah, this is actually the traditional Scottish outfit. This is the kilt, which is actually...
What's it called?
It's called a kilt.
A kilt.
A kilt, yes. It's made. This is the Pride of Scotland tartan, but there are literally hundreds of tartans that you can find. Most of them actually are about family clans, such as MacDonald, Cameron, and you can find different ones all over across the country. This one here is called a modern tartan. It's actually not part of a family clan. It's actually just something that's more fashionable. For
What about the shirt, the upper body?
The shirt is actually, this is the Jacobite outfit.
And you have a symbol here. Could you tell us more about
I
it?
do have, one is actually the peace symbol for Palestine, and actually one is actually for unity between Scotland and the European Union.
Wow.
So that's the two symbols. The actual Jacobite outfit is actually to represent the actual Jacobites who fought for Scottish independence in 1745 after the Act of the Union.
It was like a great traditional time.
It was actually the start of probably the modern independence movement.
And there's something like usually women wear bags and so on. So like you wear this bag.
Yes, this is called a sporran. This holds two things. One, it actually keeps the kilt down because we're not supposed to wear underwear underneath the kilt.
And
Okay.
I've
So it
noticed
keeps it
that
down.
Scotland has been trying to be independent for the past century. And there's an independence movement going on, like you
yes.
mentioned.
Yes.
Could you tell us more about that?
The modern independence movement started just after the Act of the Union in 1707.
Wow.
But today's one is actually led mainly by the Scottish National Party, which is the largest party in the Scottish Parliament today. We have control of our domestic issues, but not foreign affairs. And the SNP actually want to have Scotland as an independent country so we can rejoin the European Union and actually be part of a larger, wider...
So being
international-
independent is like you're trying to separate yourself from the European Union.
No.
Rejoin?
Rejoin the European
Okay.
Union. I don't know if you know, but in 2016 there was actually a British referendum to leave the European Union. That was for the whole of the United Kingdom.
That's what I'm trying to mention.
which includes Scotland. So we've been taken out of the European Union against our will because
Okay.
Scotland voted overwhelmingly to stay.
And how will this affect you as a citizen in Scotland?
My day-to-day life won't be affected. However, if I actually want to travel or live in France or Germany, it's actually now I would need visa, immigration. I would need to have a passport to do all of these things. Today, I can just sort of pop on a plane, go to the Netherlands.
So
go
you
to
still have
Germany.
access to all parts of the European Union?
Today, yes.
So yes, yeah.
After
continue.
the 31st of October, we may not have access to the European Union because we may be out of the European Union altogether,
Okay.
which is what the main case for Scottish independence is now. It wasn't in the previous referendum. However, things have changed since the referendum in 2014, and we now actually want to have independence to return to the European Union to be part of a wider international community.
Chris,
Wow.
you know about the Palestinian culture,
Yes.
but we don't know much about your culture as the Scottish culture. Could you tell
Yeah.
us more about this culture?
The cultural foods, the community, how
Yeah.
it lives, the instruments, your unique instruments you guys play?
The main instrument that we actually play that's identified as Scottish is the bagpipes, which is a loud air instrument.
You need to have a high breath of
You have to be very fit and have
Yeah.
very good lungs to play the bagpipes. It's got a very distinctive sound. But if you're listening to a tune that you really, really like, it can actually get the hairs up in your arms and get the heart pumping. It's
Really?
actually a very good instrument.
How about the cultural foods?
The cultural food. The traditional cultural food is haggis, which is actually made up of sheep's innards, things like its intestines and all that. The
Wait,
leftovers.
we have something so similar like that in Palestine. It's called turfan.
Torfan.
It's like you clean the intestines and you put them in with rice, and it's cooked really. It has to be really clean though. Some
Yes.
people don't like it.
No, haggis is like similar to that, but it's made with barley and spices, and it's cooked in the sheep's stomach. It's boiled.
Wow.
It's and today it's actually served with sauces and potatoes and we call neeps.
You like
That's
it?
turnip. I've had it on a few occasions, yes. But the haggis is actually very traditional for an event called the Burns Night, which is one of our famous poets, Robbie Burns. And in January, we actually have what's called a Burns Night, and the haggis is piped out with the bagpiper, and then it's taken out afterwards, and it's ceremoniously served to the people. And then once that's actually had with some whiskey, we start reading poems of Robert Burns on the night. It's actually quite a traditional evening.
How do you feel homesick when you came to Palestine? Like it's
No.
really different, isn't it?
Maybe you came 2-3 times before.
I've been here on several occasions now. My first visit was in 2016, and I've been here every year since. When I first came to Palestine, I didn't know what to expect. I had no preconceptions. I read what I read in the British press, and it's like, I'll find out for myself. And I was actually quite amazed of what came here. The culture and attitude is actually very, very similar to Scotland, because you have a very strong national identity. You know who you are. Whereas in Scotland, you actually have the same thing. We know who we are. We've actually fought for independence for centuries. Today, we're actually...
Where do you live now?
I currently live in Glasgow, which is the biggest city in Scotland. I moved there last year, and it's a great city. Culturally, it's very vibrant. I used to live in Edinburgh, and in both cities, there's a strong Palestinian movement. Usually every second weekend, there are marches for Palestinian independence. There are stalls, there's flags. There's also a movement for Catalonian independence as well in Scotland. So between Scotland, Catalonia, and Palestine, there seems to be sort of like a close connection between all three cultures.
Thank you, Chris, for being part of MBC Journal.
And
Thank
I really
you for being here
do acknowledge the knowledge you gave us. It's really helpful.
Thank you. Anytime I'd like to come back.
Okay, and for more information, follow NBC Journal or nn.ps and stay tuned.